Richard, thank you for joining me here on The Money. We're delighted to highlight this research that EQ Lab has done. It seems very, very well timed as these restrictions are lifted. What do you think the future is when it comes to working from home?
So I think the future is going to include working from home and working from the office. And I think we've learned a huge amount in the last 2 years about what kind of work works better at home and undoubtedly what doesn't. So I think sort of progressive organisations are going to really come to terms with how they can organise their workforce, when they could be working from home and when they should be in the office. So I don't think it's going to be I'm going to work from home always. It's going to be this hybrid kind of environment. But I do think there's going to be some age demographic differences. So it's very clear that younger demographics want to work from home more regularly than older demographics. So they're going to have to be sort of looked after, taken care of, because if you start making them come back into the office all the time, or even more than that they're comfortable with, there's a real chance that you're going to fail to get the next generation of talent. So there's going to be some kind of balance required.
There clearly is a demographic divide, as suggested by your research, Richard. You're joining us from Hong Kong. Obviously, in Hong Kong, apartments are often quite small, very expensive. It's kind of a microcosm of the situation here. Often young people in particular are living in cramped accommodation, often can't afford to buy their own place. That does make working from home more difficult. But you would still say that given the experience of the pandemic, given that a lot of the sort of executive class, if you like, are relaxing the idea, they understand that working from home can be quite useful. Do you really think it's never going to be the same again in terms of office life?
So I think in your intro, you were very clear that a certain type of work is going to be better in the office, where you need the sense of purpose, where you need the collaboration, where you need the creativity. And I think you're very correct there. I think that is going to be central to overall organisational performance going forward. But what we've seen, and this is not just in the UK, I mean, this is globally, what we've seen is people working from home feeling they have the opportunity to sort of sit and focus in a way perhaps they don't do in the current workplace, especially workplaces with these open plan designs where people are moving backwards and forwards, interrupting them. There's disruption, there's noise, there's all kinds of movement. So they don't feel they can concentrate as well in the workplace as they perhaps do at home. So you might see work being split into two different types. The sort of the individual productivity, where people will sit at home in front of the computer for 3 or 4 hours and distraction-free environments. And I think you're finding in the research, it doesn't matter how big people's houses are, they've been quite capable of doing that, versus when you need to come in and get that kind of high energy collaboration going, solve some complex problems, then you're going to see people come back into the offices, and you might see a degree of office redesign as well. You might actually see workplaces moving away from this open plan kind of area and start really investing in high-end collaborative spaces.